Well, the dogs and I are out for an adventure today, and I am at a trail I think I'm at a trail I've never been on before. It is not really marked, so we'll see. I think I am at the Trout Creek trailhead. It said there was a little bit of parking in front of the closed road, and I don't know if I would consider this parking. I'll show you in a minute. And then after this hike, which is a pretty short one, I might swing into Osprey Park in Sultan and see if the salmon are running yet. I think right around this time last year, they were running there. It is, nearing the end of September. This trail is called the Trout Creek Trail, but we're going to see some old mining ruins, I hope, at the Sunset Mine. This is the Index Galena Road, and we have been driving along the Skycomish River. The drive itself here was actually gorgeous. So I pulled over here, and there's parking, but they've been careful to replant, it looks like, recently. So just be careful of the new little trees that are here when you're parking. And then it looks like, I'll have to back out, so I'm hoping no one blocks me in here. And this is going to be basically a dirt road. It's supposed to have 500 feet of elevation gain and about 3 miles round trip. So we'll see what we do. It is beautiful up here, very green. I've read that this hike doesn't have any particularly great views. It's mostly just a beautiful woods hike and of historical interest with the mining ruins there. And I am secretly hoping that I will find some mushrooms as well. I'm not sure what views we'll get of Trout Creek, but it sure sounds beautiful. I can just see one little pool through the trees here. Some really beautiful big rocks up in here. I don't know if you can see it through the trees, but there's this huge, like, mossy boulder. We're almost a half mile in, and this is just a nice steady climb. The road is like crushed rock and gravel, and we're about to come around the corner and get some sunshine. Well, here's some mushrooms, but they're not what I'm looking for. I'm not sure what these are. Today is the autumn equinox, and I'm definitely seeing a lot of signs of fall, but it's a gorgeous fall day, and not all of the leaves are turning yet. I saw this huge mossy boulder, and I was like, wow, that is gorgeous. There's not a lot of things better than a huge mossy boulder. But then I saw it had like a grotto with a stream flowing under it. It could be that this is one of the coolest rocks ever. I'm at about 1.25 miles, and it's opening up, flattening out, and the creek sounds like it's right next to us. So hopefully we'll get some decent views of that creek. We should start seeing some of the old mining remains anytime now. we'll try to follow all the boot paths off into the woods, because that's a safe thing to do when you're hiking alone. And check out whatever we find. First boot path to the left, leading away from the creek. We'll see if this takes us anywhere, but it's a definite trail. Got to be careful out here because there are some collapsed mines. You certainly don't want to fall in there. I did bring my Garmin. Okay, that first one was maybe a dud. Well, I didn't see anything up there, but we are persevering. We go a little further. It definitely clears out up here. All right, here we go. I think this right here is the remains of the old stamp mill. And then there's a foundation of something tipping over right there. Let's go check it all out. This is cool. I'm not sure what this was. It's old and mossy. It's like a rectangular trough. Oh, it's a chunk of pipe. I thought it was attached, but it isn't. Lots of rusted metal. Looks like it has the required amount of graffiti on it. It's really interesting. And there's a third wall up there. Looks like this might be the remains of an old floor. It's pretty cool. So the mineral deposit here was discovered in 1897. This is the Sunset Mine, and they started pulling ore out in 1902. It was primarily a copper mine, but they also did find some small amounts, I guess, of gold and silver. Just coming up alongside the 3 tiers of the stamp mill. This is, I assume, the stamp mill. This is another little foundation here. Okay, we're gonna go check out this little foundation that's tipped over here. Then we'll look at the creek, and then we'll poke up the trail a little further. I think I read that it goes 1.5 miles or 2 past the mine, but that there's nothing really significant to note after that. Just a nice hike if you want to round it out, make it further. What are your thoughts, Luna? There's where the trail continues. We'll head up there a little ways. Some more lumber over here. I heard there was the remains of an old flume, and I'd like to see that. Some of these timbers could be parts of that. Let's go check out the creek. I let the dogs off leash here a bit because there was no one around and there was a lot that they could snag their leashes on. Here's an old brick. I'm coming. Okay, so here is the remains of definitely where they had piped water down back into the creek. So this might be the flume that they're talking about here. Let's see if I can get a better view from the creek, which is absolutely stunning. So this is Trout Creek. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see a trout in it. Wow, this is gorgeous. So there's that wooden structure. You just see the sides of it. It's pretty filled in and broken. Pools. I would hope there's trout in here, and this looks like a really fun place to fish. All right, we're heading back up over that flume area. Oh, I see there's a cable up there. The dog's leash is back on. We're gonna just poke up the trail a little more, see what else we can find. First, a naturally framed photo. There's a clearing here. Looks like this might be one of the mine areas.
This area looked unnaturally cleared, but it seemed more like a stream cutting through a tailings pile than it did a collapsed mine.
I'm just going to follow this little stream up a bit. I found mud, but I think this is the mine site. Up against the hill here I see. Well, I can't tell if there is a mine here or not. You may not know this about me, but I'm not a mine expert. But I'm hoping to see cool stuff as I poke around. I love this area, and it's been a really fun little adventure. I think most of the actual mining area is behind us now, so we'll only go this trail just a little bit further. I've gone 1.64. That's, you know, down to the creek and a little bit of back and forth too. We'll just see if there's anything up here. Then we'll head back. The main trail goes this way, but the dogs have found a side trail. I think we'll just take this one last side trail and see what we find up here. Well, we've come up this maybe 1/10 of a mile. It's going right up the hill. I hope there's something up here, but it looks like one of the most heavily trodden social paths, so I have high hopes. There's a rusty cable. That is a good sign. Still following that trail, following along the side of this hill. I think that was about a solid 1/4 mile, but it was uphill, so maybe it wasn't that far. I was starting to think the social trail was a joke, just to get people to climb hills. But look what we found. So at first glance, this might just look like cracks in the rock, but if you look really close, and that opening is about as big enough for like Luna or Frodo to get through. Look at the moss. All the air blowing out of the mine is blowing the moss out towards the forest. It's blowing towards me. It feels really good, actually. It feels like a little bit of AC up here. But I am not going to crawl through any holes. It does say keep out, which I am definitely going to do. But I'm glad that we found one of the mines. That's great. Well, we're just gonna wander back. If we see anything new that we missed on the way in, I'll show you. I'm hoping to also find my tripod that I managed to drop somewhere along the way. Otherwise, I'll see you at the car. This mushroom is gorgeous. Huge and beautiful. I think this might be an edible. See, there's my hand for size. But I do not know this mushroom, and so I'm going to leave its beautiful self right where I found it. Yay, I found my tripod. And we are heading back to the larger mining area from our little side excursion to the mine. And then we are heading back to the car. Well, that was a really nice hike, and I had it to myself the entire time. I really love hikes like that. Very peaceful, very beautiful. Couldn't ask for better weather. I did a total of 3.77 miles round trip. That was with a little bit of back and forth for the camera, but really not much. The biggest addition to that hike was that maybe 1/4 mile uphill to get to the collapsed mine shaft. The total elevation gain was 787 feet, so not too bad. The first almost 3/4 of a mile of this trail goes up this old logging road or Forest Service road, and that's the majority of the climb. And then if you just go to the mine site, that's the majority of the climb. If you go past it and up the social trail to the mine shaft, that added another like 280 or so feet to the trail. But couldn't ask for a better day. I think we might just go home and have to check and see if the salmon are running another day. I have a low pressure light on my tires. Thanks for coming along.